section of woods like this one behind me is roughly an acre, maybe a little bit more, roughly 4 to 5 hours to mow it completely from start to finish. You'll end up seeing an example here in a second. We have a one-stop shop, so one machine takes care of it all the way down. Instead of big piles of brush and debris, you end up with just a mowed surface. In a traditional land clearing operation, one would go in with a machine like this or with an excavator and tear out the material, make a stump pile, brush pile, and then in the process have really rutted up the ground. You're doing heavy land disturbance. And not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but in this particular application where you're around more sensitive areas, having something that chips and grinds and really spreads this great erosion control material around is just what we're looking for. But the big thing is that instead of ending up with huge stump piles that need to be hauled away or burnt off, in 4 or 5 hours you've got something that is a finished product. Come springtime, if a person wanted to clean this up a little bit, a tractor or a small skid steer could come in here, take out some of the firewood sized pieces, clean it up a little bit, and in a case like this, put a disc on it and you'd be ready to go. From a management standpoint, this section was so overgrown that one standing on the far bank wouldn't even really know what was here. It was as dense as this material over here on the right, except add in thousands of small alder saplings. And by opening this up and grooming it the way we have, water flow, observation, safety, it's all there, and there's good erosion control left, and the soil is still as intact as it was when we started. In this case, we worked on roughly a mile of river dike, and one thing that we did discover is oftentimes trees are rooting in either old log jams or far down on the bank where you really couldn't take a chainsaw and crawl down that bank. Odds were that you'd end up swimming. And in our case, we're able to just reach over, nip them off, and then continue to mow, and it also exposes for observation. So often these banks are covered with so much debris or foliage that no one can really tell if the bank is shifting. It's completely disguised, and in a case like this you can see how open it opens up for inspection what is going on in that river dike. Here's an example of what you expect typically in this type of environment, especially along a river dike. You end up with rocks, you have wrap that's in to buttress the bank here, and then you end up with a lot of scrub brush running from, here in this case you've got 2-inch or 1-inch all the way up to 6-inch. And as we mow the bank, we have to be very careful about not disturbing the bank, not digging into the ground or soil. We want to make sure that there's just a nice erosion cover left on the surface, and then we'd also prefer not to hit the rocks. And what you're looking at here is a stand of alder, blackberry, and brambles that we've basically taken all the way to the surface, chopped up into 4, 6, 8-inch sections for the most part. This was so thick through here that we really had to take these pictures afterwards, because otherwise all you'd be seeing is something that looked just like that. Now you have a nice mowed surface, and no cleanup. And you have a good erosion blanket on top. What you're going to see is head on this machine is as it mows, it's very directional. So it's only spitting the material either out the front here or right out the back. It produces a very fine chip versus the type of rotary style that's more like a typical lawnmower. It spreads material everywhere and it more beats the trees to death than it does cut. We produce a very fine product that's manageable, and when it's finished mowing, you see the results in the video. As you're looking at this head, it has a good life expectancy, and with the being attached to an excavator like it is, the reach factor is tremendous. You'll see examples of us mowing out in the ditch lines where we're able to sit in one spot and actually reach completely over down into the lower portions of the ditch and mow it all into a fine groomed finish.